I want to start a YouTube talking about real shit. Not on here doing makeup, not on here doing weed. There's people dying and getting killed every day out here. Whether it's shot, domestic, police, it's always death. I've been to more funerals than I've been to weddings, more funerals than I've been to baby showers. I need to leave a legacy. Be known for something more than going off on a hoe, beating up the laws. I don't know what it is, though. I'm 43 and still trying to figure out what my purpose is.
She started that YouTube channel because she wanted to talk about people dying. She believed her voice could matter, and she thought that was maybe her purpose. Lazette King never got to build that channel because on June 18th, 2025, in their apartment on McKenry Street in Southeast Houston, her boyfriend of 6 years, a man she had documented, confronted, forgiven, left, and gone back to, made her the story.
HPD SWAT found Lazette King inside, dead from a gunshot wound.
She called her and she said, I think he killed her.
Police tell us after the suspect shot his girlfriend, he took a photo and sent it to his family and then took off.
He told her that he was on his way to get her family next.
He shot her, and he photographed her body, and he sent those images to her family. Now her name is attached to exactly the kind of case she said she wanted to speak about: domestic violence. Before we get into everything, the 6 years, the red flags she put on camera herself, the gun he had already pulled on her before that night, the 2023 warrant that sat open with no arrest, and the twin sister who died the same way in 2001, the one thing that keeps going through my mind is, she saw this coming. She said so herself, and she still couldn't get out. How does that happen?
Boy be in my DM say I'm pretty. This boy be in my DM say I'm pretty.
Lazette King came into this world with a twin, and if you ask anyone who knew them, that twin was everything, and her name was Lazette. And the two of them grew up together the way twins do, loud and inseparable, trading off each other's energy, becoming mothers around the same time, raising their kids side by side, and calling each other about everything. Then, in 2001, Lazette was murdered by the father of her child, and just like that, Lazette's other half was gone. Not to illness, not to accident, but to the hands of a man who was supposed to love her, and Lazette never pretended to be okay about it. She never stopped mourning her publicly, and for the next 24 years, her grief sat right on the surface where everyone could see it. That loss is the first thing you need to understand about who Lazette was, because it shapes everything that comes after it. By 2019, Lazette was living in Houston, Texas, working as a housekeeper at Memorial Hermann Hospital, raising 2 boys on her own, and stretching every dollar as far as it would go. And she wasn't in love with the job, but she never dropped the ball when people were depending on her. That was just who she was, and the people around her knew it. She was also, around this time, starting to feel something pulling at her. And if you watch that first YouTube video she posted, you can hear it in her voice. This sense that she was supposed to be doing something that mattered, something that fed her soul. And then she met Michael Ellis. Now let me show you what I mean when I say the red flags were not hidden. Michael Ellis was 48 years old, and he had a documented history of mental illness, paranoid schizophrenia specifically, and the people around him knew it, and Lazette knew it, and she stayed anyway. Because when things were good between them, they were genuinely good. And the birthday video she posted on her channel is the clearest picture of what that looked like from the inside. It was her 43rd birthday, and Michael was in the kitchen cooking for her and making her a birthday cake. And there is laughing and dominoes and music, and you can see moments of real warmth between them. But it is also in that same video, on her birthday, while he is making her cake, that Lazette turns the camera on him and says this.
Stop saying that. You just can't get frustrated and do the shit you did when you get mad. We in this situation because you let your anger get the best of you. Yeah, I'm talking to you because I can see you this way.
And then she goes further.
I wouldn't have to spend my money on clothes and all that stuff if you wouldn't been up with scissor hands and let your anger get the best of you. If you would have locked my phone up, you would have been able to talk to me. But no, you want to lock my phone up and then mad because I can't answer or call you.
Honestly, a lot more was said, but we would play the rest of the video at the end of this story so you can get the full picture of everything she said. By 2021, Michael proposed, and Lazette said yes. She posted the ring, people clapped in the comments, and for a moment, it looked like the story was going somewhere different. But that celebration didn't hold. By 2022, the engagement was effectively over, and they were breaking up and getting back together and breaking up again. And Lazette was posting about it on TikTok in real time, talking about cheating and emotional exhaustion and what it feels like when someone takes you for granted long enough that you stop being broken up about them. She said,
"This is what I learned. If hurting me, speaking of me, if hurting me does not hurt you, you don't love me, you're using me."
And in another post,
"I'm not even sorry for the way I'm about to start acting. I've been nice for way too fucking long, bitch.
I will always love you. I gave you real love. And whether you know it or not, I was all about you. Not once did I give up on you. Not once did I want our relationship to end. But I just feel like you never understood where I was coming from. And I wish you did. Just sat down and think like, damn. And I see where she's coming from."
she was telling the story herself on her own platforms, and anybody paying attention could see exactly where this relationship had been and exactly where it was going, and she could see it too. But seeing it and leaving it are two very different things, and the distance between those two things is where this story lives. Before we get too deep, please remember to like, comment, and subscribe if you find value in these discussions.
I can't trip over a motherfucker that ain't mine. I can verify that motherfucker ain't all yours, though.
Now here is the part that does not get talked about enough. In 2023, 2 years before he killed her, Michael Ellis was charged with a felony for sending intimate photographs of Lazette to her boss, and court records show the intent was to get her fired. And that warrant was still active on the night he killed her. And in those 2 years, not one arrest had been made on that case. He was already a wanted man. He was still in her apartment, and the system that was supposed to act on that warrant had not moved. Lazette was still in that house with him, still navigating a situation that had already crossed into criminal territory before June 2025 ever arrived. Somewhere in the middle of all of this, Lazette's mother, Vicky Kyle, encouraged her to forgive Michael. And Lazette, torn between what she felt and what her mother was telling her, went back and she captured that moment too. In the birthday video, almost casually, like it was just another thing that had happened.
My mama say, yeah, I have to forgive you. My mama say, yeah, I have to forgive you.
Tell mama, can't hug me. Damn, thank you.
Because I text her, I said, he trying. I forgive him, but I can't forget. She said, yeah, you have to forgive him.
I want to be careful here because Vicky Kyle is a woman who has now buried both of her twin daughters to domestic violence. And that is a weight I would not put on anyone. And I am not here to pile on a grieving mother. But I also have to say this, and this is the one place in this story where I'll speak about this. Forgiveness is between you and God, and it has nothing to do with proximity. And you can release someone from your heart without putting them back in your home. And somewhere along the way, that line got blurred, and it cost Lazette everything. By 2025, Lazette had ended the relationship, for real this time, or at least that was the plan. But even though they were broken up, Michael Ellis was still living in her apartment, and Lazette had allowed him to stay. And whether that was compassion or financial entanglement or fear of what leaving him with nowhere to go might trigger, nobody outside that apartment can say for certain. What we do know is that by June 2025, Michael was unmedicated, paranoid, and he had built an entire reality in his head where Lazette, a neighbor in their building, and the government itself were all conspiring together to destroy him. His sister later told police that he had been deteriorating. She had been watching it happen and that she was scared. Her mother, Vicky Kyle, said this to reporters.
That ain't the first time he done pulled guns on her before. We almost went to jail behind him. Stayed in the police car 2 hours behind crazy stuff he did. So he knew he wasn't crazy.
He had pulled guns on Lazette before, and the family had been present for it, and it had already involved police. And still, he was there, in that apartment, armed and unmedicated, convinced that the people around him were working to have him killed. On the night of June 18th, 2025, around 9 p.m., Michael Ellis walked out of that apartment into the parking lot of Southway Manor Apartments on McKenry Street, and he found a neighbor outside with his fiancée and their children, and he shot that man in the thigh. The man ran to a nearby restaurant for help, and neighbors reported hearing 5 gunshots, and in the chaos of that scene, nobody yet knew what was still coming. The man who was shot survived, and when he spoke to reporters from the hospital, he said he did not know why he had been targeted. But Lazette's family told reporters they had a good idea for why he was a target, because Michael had accused that neighbor of being romantically involved with Lazette, although the neighbor and the family both confirmed that was completely false, and that accusation had lived entirely inside Michael's deteriorating mind. Then, approximately an hour after shooting the man in the parking lot, Michael Ellis went back inside, and he went to the apartment he shared with Lazette King, and he shot her. Houston police received the first call about a man with a gunshot wound near South Loop. Officers responded to that scene and began working it, and while they were still there, a second call came in. This one from a woman reporting that her brother had just confessed to fatally shooting his girlfriend. That woman was Michael Ellis's sister. By the time HPD SWAT reached the apartment on McKenry Street, Lazette was unresponsive, and she was pronounced dead at the scene from a gunshot wound. But Michael Ellis was not finished. After he shot her, he photographed her body, and he sent those images to his own sister and to Lazette's family. Then he picked up Lazette's phone, and he used it to call her family and taunt them. He sent a message from her phone that simply said, "F everybody."
We're told the first victim, a man, ran to a nearby restaurant for help before the same gunman allegedly shot and killed his own longtime girlfriend, then sent photos of her body to family members.
He reached out to his sister to let his sister know what he'd done.
Ellis's sister also told Lazette's family that he had threatened to come for the rest of them next. He said he was on his way and that he knew where they lived. And he did know because he had been around for 6 years. He knew their routines, their addresses, and exactly how to find every single person Lazette had ever loved. Shatina Thompson described what happened next.
He told her that he was on his way to get her family next. So at that point, that's when we got in motion to get my parents out of their home because he knows where they live. So we had to make sure that we got them out and they were able to leave, and then that's when we came here.
The family got Lazette's parents out, and Ellis never made it to their house. But the fact that the family had to move in the middle of the night to protect themselves from a man who had just killed their daughter and was now texting threats from her dead body's phone is something that should not require any commentary from me at all. Police searched multiple locations across Houston through the early morning hours, and around 3 a.m. on June 19th, they found Michael Dwayne Ellis near Willowbrook Mall, approximately 25 to 30 miles from the apartment on McKenry Street, and he was taken into custody without resistance. He was transported to the Harris County Jail and charged with murder and unlawful disclosure of intimate visual material, and his bond was set at $915,000. He even had a 2023 felony warrant still active when he was booked. Now, here is where the mental illness question comes to play. Ellis's sister told police he had a diagnosed history of paranoid schizophrenia and that he had not been taking his medication. She said that at times he genuinely believed Lazette was conspiring with the government to have him killed. And those things can all be true simultaneously. The diagnosis, his deteriorating state, but I would say his actions were still deliberate, and his intent was clear. Lazette's family was not interested in the mental illness framing, and they made that plain to every reporter who asked.
He knew what he was doing. And to do what he did, take pictures and send it to his sister? Come on now.
And
he thought
that he had a plan to come and kill the rest of the family.
So he ain't crazy.
The family's argument is that he shot a specific person in the parking lot based on a specific suspicion, then went back inside and killed Lazette, photographed her body, sent the photos deliberately, took her phone and used it to send threats, fled 25 miles to a mall, and was found there, calm enough to be taken without resistance. And at each one of those steps, there was a decision, a sequence, an awareness of consequence, and a plan. Another thing I noted about this story was that Lazette King was a co-worker of someone who said a day before she was killed, while they were at work, she could hear Lazette laughing, genuinely, and feeling happy. I keep thinking about that, because that is what these cases look like from the outside, and that is why people miss them. And that is why the last day always looks like any other day until it isn't. She was laid to rest on July 5th, 2025, and her family buried her near her twin sister, Lazette, so that even in death, the bond they carried in life would remain unbroken. And their mother, Vicky Kyle, a woman who had already stood at one daughter's grave and never fully left it, stood at another one, 24 years later, in the same grief, with the same unanswered question sitting at the center of it all. Lazette King was 45 years old. She wanted to leave a legacy. She wanted to talk about the people the world forgot. And she wanted her life to mean something beyond the funerals she kept attending. And I believe she meant every word of that. I believe she deserved the chance to do it. And I believe the version of Lazette who sat in front of that camera and said,
I'm 43 and still trying to figure out what my purpose is,
had no idea that her story would become exactly the kind of story she wanted to tell. She deserved a long life. She deserved peace. And she deserved to watch her boys grow into men. Her sons are now without their mother. Michael Ellis is behind bars in Harris County. And somewhere in this city, there is a 2023 warrant that sat open for 2 years while all of this was still preventable. That is what I want people to walk away thinking about. Not just what Michael did, but what the system didn't. Rest in peace, Lazette King, and rest in peace, Lazette. May the two of you finally have the quiet you were never given here. Before I go, here is the full video from her birthday, the one I promised to play in full.
Man, this shit stink. But I should kick you for even asking me about that other shit.
Why?
Not you gotta read the instructions.
What are you talking about?
Like if this was an unencrypted
Well, if it say use water, use milk. Use a little more butter than they tell you. They say
every text you send is just as open as your letters, including pictures. Your texts are open.
What's this for?
At Lazybowl Furniture Galleries, we know everyone has their favorite spot.
This shit feels like a workout.
It's day sale. For a limited time only, you can save 25 cents.
Oh, we ain't got the plug to the radio, honey. You ever find the plug? Oh, my radio on. I unplugged it. I unhooked it all though. So it can sit on the floor.
Oh, you talking about your radio?
No, the radio on the cabinet. Your sister radio. Cause this is my birthday. We supposed to be jamming, playing music. My mama say, yeah, I have to forgive you. My mama say, yeah, I have to forgive you.
Tell mama, thank her, man. God. Damn, thank you.
Cause I text her, I said, he trying, I forgive him, but I can't forget. She said, yeah, you have to forgive him.
Great job, man. Good job, man. Wish I could get this done. I'm really sorry, baby. I know it's gonna take me a couple years.
I don't know, you had like when we met, you ain't have a job and you wasn't taking care of me. Babe, you forgot you gave me money for my birthday and for Christmas. You forgot? If we gonna be together every day, not gonna be sunshine and rainbows. Every day we not gonna have money. So stop saying it. You just can't get frustrated and do the shit you did when you get mad. We in this situation because you let your anger get the best of you. Yeah, I'm talking to you because I can see you this way. Don't touch my camera. I wouldn't have to spend my money on clothes and all that stuff if you wouldn't been up with scissor hands and let your anger get the best of you. If you would have locked my phone up, you would have been able to talk to me. But no, you want to lock my phone up and then mad because I can't answer or call you. Tell me what sense does that make? Mr. Mouton, did that make sense? Instead of just telling that but the code to my phone or telling that but I know she right there, give her the phone. You let a whole month go by. Hello? Hello? It's my birthday. I can talk shit. Yes, I'm recording you so you can look back on this and see I told you this.
I know you like crazy and I'm sorry like that.
You showed me you love me and you crazy. Not love me like crazy. Love me, you crazy. No filters and no hospital. Jojo say you on a 30-day restriction. Yeah, he say you off now. That's what my brother was saying. It's hard to find a man that loves you and your kids accept them. I said, yeah, because JoJo be asking about that nigga more than anybody. Call that nigga Eminem. You know him. And Papa man said, JoJo told me you running out in my mouth, so we y'all back together. It's not 12 o'clock.
The numbers are showing that the surge in hospital cases is moving down. It's peaking late January. 37% of infections were positive for COVID-19 in Harris County early last month. Today, that number is about 21%. The Texas Medical Center reported the lowest number of vaccine cases so far this year. Hospitalizations have been cut by about 50% over the last month. Experts are still recommending that you mask in highly populated areas because while the numbers are going in the right direction, they are still relatively high. But we can find ourselves but some teachers at HISD are concerned about the long-term effects this could have on children.
Caramel, strawberry cream, orange cream, cocoa truffle, chocolate caramel. Ah, look, they made it. Will this come off now?
HISD made an announcement yesterday that they will not be doing away with their mask mandate, so it will still be in effect for teachers. Now, we're having a meeting at some point this evening, so we're sure that parents will be there to see how the Natasha Biden's story
You know my old ass can't dance. I'm 43, I can't dance. You gonna say let that monkey hang. I know you ain't talking about no measuring cup. Black folks don't measure shit. My baby making me a birthday cake. You just gotta stir it up, make sure ain't no lumps in it. Put the blender on low. While the cake in the oven. And I told that ass up, Mister, I'ma spank you. What you told me? I ain't gonna let you win nothing. I think the last game my dog walked you. Most of your punks was coming from out my hand, cause one, you locked the game up. Then two, I locked the game up. Some fives, and we couldn't play, and I had more dominoes in my hand. So if it wasn't for that, you would have been getting your ass whooped. Now you can't lie. Cause one hand you got 40 out of. Remember? I let you win that one. Man, if you don't stop lying, give me my credit. You lying, we be going tip for tat. That ain't no let you win game. That be passing up money. Or playing where you know I can make money. Yeah, that'll be you giving me the game. But nigga, you be over there playing for your life.
That's it for today's video. Stay safe out there, and I hope these stories help you recognize warning signs and encourage you to seek help or offer support before it's too late. I'll see you in the next episode of Crime of Passion. Thank you for watching.